Another thing to bring on PTSD is traumatic life experiences. So like Juan was telling us, his grandpa in the Army, he was seeing just a lot of violent situations. Same with Sia and her uncle. Not in the Army, but also went through something traumatic. Traumatic's going to be one of our vocab words this week, so you should be real good at it. Another thing that affects how you develop PTSD, or if you develop it, is the way your brain handles stress. So not everybody that goes to the Army will develop PTSD. Not everybody that was involved in any shooting or anything traumatic will necessarily have PTSD. It's just the way your brain handles it. So that goes back to, if you're more susceptible to having anxiety or depression, you're more likely to have PTSD, because that's just the way your brain handles stress. So not everyone necessarily will develop PTSD if they go through something traumatic. If you've finished writing, I want you to take a minute. Write a one-sentence summary at the bottom of causes. Think to yourself, if you had to say one sentence about the causes of PTSD, what would it be? Think of a summary for that when you're finished writing.
Are you going to be writing something for each?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. About 1 more minute on this slide. All right, different symptoms of PTSD. And I had some people asking me what symptoms are. Symptoms are like side effects. So it's stuff like, so if I'm outside and it's summer, it's like 115 degrees. A side effect of it being like that is that I'm going to be really sweaty. That's similar to a symptom. It's a side effect. So some side effects of PTSD are having flashbacks of the event. So Sammy's teacher, I know we didn't watch a video on her, but I told you a little bit about her. She was having flashbacks of that moment where she was like shoved in the little closet, the shooting was going on next door. She kept having flashbacks of that. It kept recurring in her head. She kept hearing it. You could have upsetting dreams about the traumatic event. I think it was Billy's story. He was having nightmares. He was sleeping for like an hour and then he would wake up because he was having nightmares about what he had gone through. You could also have intense anger or aggression. So if you're getting really violent, like Juan, you said your grandpa was getting kind of violent after he went through being in the Army. There's also alcohol and drug abuse. We talked about that with our articles, alcohol and drug abuse. So remember, the drug abuse, it's not always even illegal drugs. There are some people that they get prescribed sleeping medication to help them sleep. If you start using that more than you need, that becomes drug abuse, even though it's legal and even though it came from a doctor. And then there was also depression, feeling down about yourself, feeling sadder than normal. What was a side effect of depression that we talked about? Somebody give me one side effect of depression. Juan, what's one side effect?
Self-blaming.
Self-blame, yeah, you're blaming yourself. Sia, what else?
You don't when you do the activity you used to do.
So you don't enjoy what you used to enjoy? Yeah, you're becoming withdrawn. It's a great one. Juan, did you have another question? Yeah. The same thing for this slide. Think of a one-sentence summary, summarizing these symptoms. Just one sentence after you write these down. Alright, and our last slide is treatment. Different treatment options for dealing with PTSD. Remember, we learned in our videos, they're not all just medical treatments, just reaching out to a friend or a family member. That's going to help. That's going to be huge. Think about any time you just get stressed out. It feels a lot better, at least for me, if I'm talking to somebody about it. If I'm like, oh my God, I'm really stressed about this class, and one of my classmates can agree. That really helps me. So similar to PTSD, reaching out to a close friend or family member, that helps. Also, talking to a doctor about any therapy or medication options. That is how, I think it was Billy, that's how he had his sleeping medications. He reached out to a doctor, and then suddenly sleeping was a lot easier for him. There's also service animals. So who had a service animal in our videos? Amara, who was one person?
Eric.
Eric had a service animal. Eduardo, who else? Sammy had a service animal. So neither of those people were using medication, or they weren't seeing a doctor consistently, but they had a service animal to help them out. Yeah, Angela. Yeah. So that was a good point that Angela brought up. Eric actually tried to use medication to deal with his stress, but it didn't work as well as having his service dog did. His service animal that was able to sense when he was stressed out or he was overwhelmed. He was able to sense that and comfort him. Yes, Juan.
Like the dog in the interview when he was getting mad, like the dog knew.
He did. So do we remember Juan was saying in the interview, he was talking to the girl that was interviewing him. He was getting worked up, and before he even really knew he was going to get upset, his dog already knew, and his dog was licking his face. He was like climbing on top of him. That was a good point. Remember to write those summaries at the end. So in case you're wondering, our parents we're going to do those tomorrow. You'll have those tomorrow, so they'll be due Wednesday. Nobody's in trouble for it. Alright, so now that we have more information on causes, symptoms, and treatments of PTSD, you have all of the articles we've been reading on PTSD. You have the video notes. They're all in your comp book. You have everything in front of you. So now we're going to be making a fact sheet, but we're not all going to be doing the same one, which is kind of like a mini poster.
Okay.
So if you have a pink paper, please raise your hand if you have a pink paper. Alright, people with a pink paper. You're making a fact sheet on causes of PTSD. If you have a green paper, who's got the green papers? You are making a fact sheet on symptoms of PTSD. In yellow, you are doing treatment. So let me show you what that will look like. So here's an example from the last class that just did it. They put treatment at the top, and then they have 3 facts about treatment, 3 different ways treatment can help. And then they gave examples. If this was a really, really A+ fact sheet, they would give me a bit more information than just Eric's story or Sandy's story. They would tell me about those different stories. Then at the bottom, I want you to do 2 pictures. So they did a picture of sleeping medication. That would be one picture they could do. They could have also done a picture of a dog, maybe helping out a veteran. That would be something that shows a picture of treatment. However you set it up though, I want you to have 3 examples of the causes or 3 examples of symptoms or treatment. 3 of our examples, so the stories that we read, the articles you have. And then I want you to have 2 pictures showing me pictures of the causes or symptoms or treatment depending on what you have. We're going to present these at the very end, so I'm going to give you guys about 15 minutes. We'll check back in and see how far we are with that. And then we're going to present them. Hold on. I'll promise I'll answer. At the very end, then we're going to hang them up, so you guys are going to be able to look at them, and it'll help you for your essay later this week. See ya, what's up?
My name is Vira.
You got it? Okay. I want each of you to, everybody in your group needs to write with a different color marker. So I want to see who's writing what. So everybody's writing with a different color marker. You may start now. Yes.
Wait, Miss Oscar, will you use Sharpies?
Yeah.
Oh, you can use Sharpies?
It cannot get too loud in here. We'll be doing this on our own. Be mindful of your voices.
No blue? Master Spencer. Deep blue. Deep blue. Deep
Oh, I thought
Cause and effect.
Alright, so
No, we got symptoms.
We
have symptoms. Okay, so we can.
It's not exactly like that, but 3 examples, 3 stories, and 2 pictures. That will be however you want to set it up.
The causes. Alright, another, you can write causes. Wait, you have.
No, we have symptoms.
Exactly.
You said
Oh,
cause.
never mind.